I have lived in Obino village all my life, and I have seen many strange things. But nothing haunts me more than what happened to Okeke, the proud farmer who learned too late that not every gift can be sold. Okeke was a hard-working man, but his hunger for wealth was greater than his wisdom. He had the largest yam barn in Obino, the fattest cows, and a house made of solid red clay that stood like a chief's palace. Yet, no matter how much he had, it was never enough. It all began on the evening of the Ike market day. I remember it clearly because the Harmattan wind had just started, and the air smelled of dust and roasting maize. Okeke had gone to the market to buy a young goat for his herd, but instead of purchasing one from the traders, he met an old wanderer sitting under the udala tree near the market square. The man was bent with age, his wrapper torn, and his eyes carried the weight of many years. By his side was a small goat, thin but strangely healthy, its white coat untouched by dirt. The goat stood quietly, chewing on nothing, its large eyes staring at the crowd as if it understood every conversation. "Papa, do you want to sell this goat?" Okeke asked, rubbing his chin. The old man nodded slowly. "Yes, my son, but this is no ordinary goat. If you take it, promise me you will never sell it." Okeke laughed, thinking the old man was just trying to make his goat seem special. "Why would I promise such a thing? A goat is a goat." The old man's gaze darkened. "This goat is different. It does not bleat. It does not cry, no matter what happens. But it will bring you good fortune if you keep it." Now, if there was one thing Okeke loved more than money, it was luck. He paid the old man quickly and led the silent goat, thinking himself the luckiest man in Obino. For a long time, everything the old man said seemed true. Okeke's farm flourished like never before. His yams grew so large that people whispered he had used medicine. His goats multiplied quickly, his cows became fatter, and his household was always full of food. But in all this time, the little white goat remained silent. It never cried, not even when Okeke's children pulled its ears, or when the other goats butted it aside during feeding. People noticed and began to talk. "That goat is not normal," my uncle Nana, the village storyteller, said one evening by the fireside. "An animal that does not speak is not of this world." But Okeke, blinded by greed, dismissed the whispers. Then one day, temptation came knocking. A wealthy trader from the next village passed through Obino, looking for strong animals to buy. When he saw the silent goat, his eyes widened. "This goat is different," he said, rubbing his beard. "I will pay you 10 times the price of a normal goat." 10 times! Okeke had never made such a profit from a single goat. The thought of all the things he could buy made his head spin. He ignored the old man's warning and agreed to the sale. The trader handed him a bag of cowries, and with a greedy smile, Okeke waved as the man led the silent goat away. That night, the winds changed. At midnight, a terrible cry tore through the village. It was not the cry of a goat, nor a man, nor any creature we had ever heard. It was deep, long, and filled with sorrow. Like the wail of a spirit mourning its own death, the sound rolled through the village like thunder, shaking the very ground. Okeke woke up sweating. He rushed outside, heart pounding. The air smelled different, like burnt yam leaves and old rain. The moment he stepped out, his feet hit the cold earth, and everything he owned began to wither before his eyes. His yams, once thick and strong, began to rot on their stalks. His cows, once fat, shrank to skin and bones overnight. His goats, once numerous, scattered and never returned. By morning, Okeke's farm was a graveyard. His once proud house, which had stood tall, now looked like an abandoned shrine. He ran to the market, searching for the trader who had bought the goat, but no one had seen or heard of him. It was as if he had never existed. Then the whispers started again, but this time they were not just whispers. The elders called Okeki to the village square, where the chief priest of Ani, the earth goddess, sat waiting. Okeki, the priest said, his voice heavy with meaning, you have sold away your fortune. The goat was a spirit sent to bless you, but you exchanged it for mere cowries. Now, what it gave, it has taken back. Okiki fell to his knees. But I did not know, he cried. The priest shook his head. Greed blinds a man more than darkness. The old man who sold you the goat was not an ordinary man. He was a messenger of fate, testing your heart. You have failed. From that day, Okeki became a shadow of his former self. He spent his days sitting by his empty barn, staring into nothingness. His wealth never returned, and he was never seen in the market again. Some say he wandered into the forest one night, calling the name of a goat that never spoke. Others say he still waits under the udala tree, hoping the silent goat will return. But we all know one thing for sure. Since that night, no one in Obino has ever dared to sell a goat without first asking where it came from. I hope this feels immersive and real, like a story passed down in an African village. Let me know if you'd like any refinements.